Hi there, and welcome to hell. My name is Trevor, and this is Luke, and together we're bringing the podcast in English to do with FC St. Pauli from Hamburg. And we're in a bit of a jovial mood today. We have our beer in hand. Luke's back from holiday. He's sunned, and I just got back from a stressful weekend away with the kids. Zero sleep, but we're here to talk about St. Pauli. So, how you doing, Luke?
Yeah, just still getting over that match. It's a bit of a wild one, wasn't it?
It's either a springboard or it's as good as things are going to get.
Let's go with springboard. I mean,
Yeah.
Paderborn are a great team. Yeah, we think we both went for a draw last week. We weren't overly optimistic, but
Yeah, but
I'm happy enough with the point. Maybe not with the circumstances. It sort of feels like a 2 points lost.
do you think?
Rather than
I don't know. I think
point
Paderborn
gain.
had a few chances to, like Smash had the flurry of saves, and there's the offside. Was it offside? It looked quite close. He went through and scored again a few minutes later anyway to be sure,
Yeah.
but it's just I don't know. It looked like it could have been.
I mean, we had a penalty. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a second. I mean, Packard has already lost.
It's easy to forget. Because of all that went on, it's easy to. I'm sure Pac will be happy that people are forgetting about that. But
it's one of the things you just let it slide. Like, yeah, that's cool. But it's, one of my talking points later because Packard has already lost corner responsibility, or not lost it, but corners and free kicks seem to mostly be in the hands of Smith and Hartl at the moment. Is Packard going to lose penalties too?
I doubt it. If he's got that captain's armband, then I really doubt it. How have you been anyway? How was the weekend away with the kids?
Yeah, it's good. Didn't get to watch the game, so in all honesty and transparency, I didn't watch the game all the way through. So I watched a chunk and then finished off with the highlights. And I'm just going to echo what you say. So just to try and sound intelligent, pass off as if I watched the game.
If you want to sound intelligent, you're better off not echoing what I say.
I'm going to go quickly research on Kicker or something then.
Yeah, I'd recommend going back and watching it. It was an absolute cracker of a match. So it was finished 2 each, as I'm sure you're aware.
I mean, should we just cast our minds back to last week when we predicted the scores? Yeah, I mean, we both went for a draw, but only one of us said it's going to be 2-2. I'm not going to dilly-dally on it. I'm not going to say who it was that said 2-2, but it's just one of us. And yeah, it turned out to be 2-2, so all praise me.
Yeah, I think with that smug tone, people will work out who it was, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Wouldn't worry about that.
I'm pretty sure I'll get a lot wrong. I mean, I didn't get all of my guesses right. I mean,
did Jackson Irvine or Eric Smith not show up in centre back? I must have missed that.
They wanted to. I heard from Schultz that they wanted to. But
is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's but they were told no. It's much more important that you play midfield rather than centre back, like some idiots think. So yeah, it turned out okay. Nemeth and Medic did a stellar job. So let's keep it that way.
Yes. So speaking of which, only one change made to the starting 11.
I think we agreed on that.
Antanovic coming out.
Yeah, I think we agreed on that. Yes, that's good.
We both called that one. So yeah, David Otto came in from Antanovic, and that was the only change.
Antanovic did get game time though. He still got a good 25-30 minutes. Did he have much of an impact? I didn't see him. I didn't see that part. I mean, I did see that part of the game, but I'm just asking you what you thought.
Well, funnily enough, I think he made more of an impact than Amaniero, even though Amaniero scored the goal, which, might be saying something because we want our strikers scoring goals. I don't really care if Amaniero didn't make much of an impact. If he puts the ball in the back of the net, that's all I really care about.
Yeah, I think
it's about time.
Crazy statistic around Erling Haaland for Man City so far this season. Like touches to goal ratio is insane, but it's the goals that count. And if Amaniero is having that finishing touch, that's what we want.
Yeah, I think it's about time he gets a goal in the starting 11 because Otto didn't have the best of games. The front three pressed really well. They harried Paderborn and made sure they couldn't get their attacks going, but other than that, there wasn't a lot. But then again, there weren't many great chances for them to be feeding off of either.
No.
So will we just get stuck into the match?
Yeah, man, let's
then?
do that.
So,
That's cool. Yeah, you can fill me in on what happened, and other people that didn't watch the whole game.
yeah, first of all, I'd definitely go back and watch it if you have a chance. It's on St. Pauli TV. It's well worth a watch.
And it's Casper doing the commentary, so you can expect some crazy.
Mate, watch it just for that last goal, or even the highlights. Watch Casper absolutely lose his shit.
The highlights, he wasn't losing his shit too much. You have to watch the full game for the last.
That's right.
The last
Actually,
10, 15 minutes.
He redoes the highlights. Yeah.
Yes.
Watch it. Yeah, he goes fucking mental. Yeah. It's brilliant.
The way we do it is you do the whole game, and then so you do the whole game live, and then we have to do the highlights like 15, 20 minutes later. So it's not like it's cut from the live game. You have to then re-record it. So I'm doing the game this weekend against Greuther Fürth. But it seems like Casper gets all the good games, right?
He gets all the last-minute goals anyway, that's for sure.
Not loving it. I'm meeting him for a beer tomorrow, so I'm going to ask him to swap a couple of games.
Good idea. So yeah, the St. Pauli started really well. I guess the Timo thought that the best way to defend is to attack. They did a really good job of stifling Paderborn's attack, basically by pressing high. One of the two midfielders behind the two strikers would join them in the press. So it forced Paderborn into going long often, which is evident through the stats. Paderborn had almost 20% of their passes were long.
Oh, wow.
It's usually around about 12%. So that worked really well. You've got to give props to Timo for that. His tactics were spot on.
Masterstroke, because that's a big threat. Like we said, Paderborn had scored 18 goals in 5 games or something going into this. So we were very nervous, especially since our defensive woes. But that's how you play tactical football. Love it.
Yeah, and it worked. It worked really well. It helped St. Pauli control the game. You know, they looked like the only ones who were really threatening. They had most of the ball. But much like other games this season, they'd control the game. They looked pretty solid at the back, but there was just no real penetration up front, no big chances created. But still, you know, a decent first half all in all. Especially against a team like Paderborn, where you were expecting to be under the cosh for large parts of the game. They did really well.
They were coming in on the wave, right? They were top of the league, 4 wins out of 5, and we were coming into it a little bit backs against the wall. So it's good to set the tone for the
definitely.
Game. I mean, yes, it's at the Milan tour, and you'd expect that the fans were right behind them. But yes, it's good to, because it takes an early goal and then the wind's out your sail. The wind is out your sails, and it's like, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah, it's actually a good point. It's really good not to go down early again.
I speak from experience. My teams always go down early, and then it's just like, oh shit, we've lost 6-0. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's no crack. You don't want to be doing that too often. But for all the control and good pressing and good game management, it just takes one mistake. So their first goal came in the 44th minute. Nemeth, I don't know if you would even call it a mistake. He came out from defence to header a ball in the midfield, and he won the header. Fair play to him, but it went straight to a Paderborn player, which initiated a counter. And then it was just all a bit messy at the back. Then on the counter, Paquet tried to reach the ball, missed it.
Yeah.
And their number 9 just slid it past Mars.
Yeah, it seems like Paquet's banana shoes. He kind of slipped and lost his footing a wee bit, right? It's off balance, but because he's running to try and intercept the run, the ball's played in behind him. But I mean, he's not at fault for that at all. It's just.
Yeah, I know he's not at fault. It's frustrating to always to seem like you're in so control for 44 minutes of that match. Everything was going perfectly to plan, but just that one lapse in concentration or that one mistake, and all of a sudden we're facing our own goal, we're running back, and it's just hard to stop, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just one of the things that we need to work on, because as we'll see as we analyze this match further, it's not the first time that happened in this match or in previous matches.
No, well, definitely not the first time this season. Maybe the first or second time this match, but yeah, it got a wee bit more so later on.
Yeah, exactly. So even in the start of the second half,
Were there any
right off
changes
the
at half
bat,
time? Like, was any?
no changes. Same lineups as the kickoff. Um, just within like a couple of minutes of the second half whistle going, they had a great chance where it was, I think it was their striker who scored the goal, Pieringer, is that how you say it?
Pieringer, yeah, genau.
Pieringer. He got one-on-one with Smarsh, and just lucky that the ball came off the crossbar. I couldn't really tell. It was so Saliakas sort of was caught napping a little bit and let him get in, or didn't track his run as tightly as he could have. But he got back well, like used that pace of his. And I don't know if the striker missed it or he just got a toe on it, but it came off the bar anyway. Thankfully.
Did it go over the line? Like, do we have goal line technology? It looked very close, right? That was.
No, it definitely didn't go over the line.
Because it is very. As I watched the highlights, I was very nervous. Like, well, okay, cool. That's good then. At least because Saliakas was back there, but then he's involved in the other end as well.
Yeah, he found himself in the Paderborn box a good few times, I'd say, Saliakas. Like, normally known for whipping crosses in, but we saw less of that today and more of him actually getting in and amongst it in the box. And he did well to sort of get a toe in front of the defender. Defender brought him down. Definite penalty, in my eyes, what do you reckon?
The defender made contact. I don't think he brought him down. I think Saliakas could have easily stayed on his feet. But
yeah,
he played the situation very well.
I mean, if you feel a touch on your heels in the box, you're going down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, without a doubt, yeah. But I wouldn't say he brought him down.
Yeah, sure.
But he definitely made contact, and Saliakas did enough to convince the referee that the pain was real.
Yeah, and then up steps Paca, and unfortunate.
What happened there?
I know he is good from set pieces. I think he said in the post-match interview that he kept his head down rather than seeing which way the keeper was moving. Okay. And at the last second, if he had kept his head up, he would have seen where he was going and he could have put it the other side. You know the way like Jorginho and Bruno do, where they'll wait to see where the keeper goes first and then they'll make a decision. But yeah, it wasn't a terrible penalty. It was just unfortunate. Shit happens, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing though. When you're taking penalties, if it's not in the side netting and the keeper goes the right way, he's likely to save it unless it's high. But at that height, it's perfect for the goalkeeper. It wasn't into the side netting by any means. It's like a good half a meter or so from the post. So the keeper gets the right way. And unfortunately, sometimes the keeper saves it right. But if it had been into the side, there's no way he'd have saved it if it's into the side netting or a wee bit higher. But
easier said than done, though.
Of course, yeah. I mean, have you seen me take a penalty? Like a scuff and it goes down the middle. I used to take penalties for my team when I was at uni. I was a striker. I used to take penalties. I don't think I ever missed a penalty. Hopefully, not too many people are watching this or listening to this, or friends of mine at least that can challenge me on this. But I'm pretty sure I never missed a penalty in a game scenario. I took a few.
Don't be so humble, Trev.
I'm just saying, man. Like, get into the side netting in Pacarada.
So you're better in Paca, is what you're telling us?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I played against much lesser of a goalkeeper as well. Usually,
that's also true.
The fat kid or something that doesn't necessarily want to play out feels like, now going goal, it's easier.
So after that missed penalty, then St. Pauli continued to dominate. You know, they looked like they were threatening. Nothing like really clear cut. No great chances. I think overall we had like 18 shots, which would make you think we were battering their door down. You know, but because I think 18 is more than Paderborn have faced all season.
Oh, really?
But only 5 of those were on target, I think it was, and. Nothing really clear cut, but still, you know, it was looking promising. They were definitely dominating proceedings, and they had to wait until the 83rd minute to finally get the reward. Amagnedo had come on the pitch at that stage, as had Zander. And by the way, whenever Zander came on, he was looking unreal. He really had an impact, changed the game, you could even say.
It's that competition, right? So Saliakas and Zander on the right. And they say competition breeds, it makes you a better player. So that's what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's any competition, but Pakarad is awesome. But there's not much to any competition on the left. But on the right-hand side, we've got two solid options.
It's a good problem to have. Again, Saliakas had a great game as well. I see, before we move on, I think Saliakas should have had another penalty around about the 60th minute. Could have been two penalties in one phase of play. It was a corner, and then it was Medic or Smith, I think it was Medic, took a shot, and it looked like it might have come off the hand of a Paderborn player. So it could have been a penalty. But it continued on, and then Saliakas got tackled in the box, like studs up, relatively high. I thought it was a penalty personally, but it could just be, I'm wearing my brown and white glasses, as to say.
Wearing your St. Pauli cap, that's what it is.
Yeah, it might be causing a lapse in judgment, but I do think it could have been a penalty, and there wasn't really any big fuss over it. The game just kept moving.
I mean, usually, if it's like the players are there, right? If there's any hint, it's good that the players are fair, but if there's any hint of a possibility of getting a penalty, then usually they shout. But yeah, maybe we can go back and see, have a look.
Yeah.
But the replays are tricky, right? You have to keep doing it. Yeah, it wasn't in the highlights, I didn't see it. Yeah, I have to go into the real game and replay.
Let me know what you think anyway. But that was a really nice goal, the one that Amaniero scored.
Yeah.
It came at the end of a 21 pass sequence, which is just glorious. You got to appreciate a goal like that.
Well, it's the instinct, like he came from behind and darted in front of the defender, then took it first time. Like that's a perfect instinctive striker's finish, just reading the pass the ball, because it wasn't a great pass by Zander either, but Amanido had read the situation, got in front of the defender, and then tucked it home. So that's what you want from your man.
Yeah, a bit harsh on Zander. I wouldn't take anything away from him. It was a big crossfield ball from Paca. Yeah. I think he actually did pretty well to pick out. I don't know if he even picked out Amanido, but he put it in the perfect area.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
I mean, it wasn't like it's just on a needle's head for him to perfectly place in. Amanido had a lot of work to do. I'm not taking anything away from Zander. Obviously, he was in the right place to be able to cut it in. But it's a well-worked goal. Again, a bit more direct than our usual.
And then just after the goal, we have another example of Paderborn getting 1v1 with Smarsh. So again, it's this whole dominate the game, control game plans going exactly as you want it to, and then a little lapse in concentration, and there's a ball over the top. All of a sudden, they're 1-on-1. I think they got through on goal with Smarsh 1v1 either 3 or 4 times, which is criminal, especially if you consider how much in control they seem to be for large chunks of that game. And right after a goal as well, it's enough to make you go mad. So it was Sword Lord Conte, who, fair enough, the man is lightning quick.
Yeah, right.
But Nemeth and Medic, they both went for the same ball pretty much, and it just left him to run in behind. And he's finished it off, but luckily it was ruled out for offside. It was a very close offside decision as well.
Yeah.
Sort of got away with one there.
But I mean, we had that same problem against Hansel Rostock now, with so many through balls over the top 1-on-1s. Are we playing too high a defensive line for our centre backs? We just need to accept that they're not that fast and maybe sit them halfway inside our half rather than too close to the halfway line? Is that something that needs to be addressed?
See, I think us having such a high line helps with the controlling of the game, because it makes it so much tighter in there, and there's plenty of options. But I don't think that our two centre backs are cut out for those balls in behind. They're great at playing with their backs to goal, never to place in front of them. Yeah. They're really good at, Medic especially, great in the air, good at tackling, blocking. But as soon as their backs get turned and they're running the other way, it's just panic stations. You can see the panic echoing throughout the entire team. Even on their first goal, whenever the play got overturned, and you had the entire team sprinting back, there was no real no real idea of what to do or what positions to get back to.
Yeah.
It was just almost like everybody chasing the ball, like back in primary 3.
Yeah, right.
It was tough to watch at times.
Well,
and it happens over and over again as well.
Is it a case of transition then from attack to defense that needs to be worked on? So as soon as you lose the ball, give yourself 10 yards or something, like just drop back, because it's a big thing for most games actually, but definitely against Hansa Rostock and now against Paderborn, especially when you're playing fast strikers. There's way too much space in behind, especially because Smash is a bit conservative with coming out. Medic and Nemeth seem to be the fastest. There's a big void in the middle, which is just a fast striker's dream.
Exactly.
So we need to drop as soon as we lose the plate, drop 10, drop 15 or something. If we win the ball quickly, that's fine, right? We can build up again, but it's just to immediately drop because the opposition seems to be aware of that. Get the ball, play at the top, and
just like the giving up possession in bad areas is decisive as well. We got to get better at that. Because not only is there sort of a lack of cohesion in the front line and we struggle to create chances, but also whenever those attacks break down, if it happens in a bad area, then that's our defence immediately under pressure and with the possibility of a ball going over the top of 2 centre-backs. And if they have sort of Conte's, like if he was in FIFA, he'd have 99 pace and he's coming on off the bench, fresh legs, up against Nemeth and Medic. Like, I mean, they really stood no chance. For this one, fair enough. They one of them, I would have to say it was Nemeth's ball, and Medic should have dropped off in anticipation for something going wrong. So I would have to say it's a Medic mistake. But it happened again then for their second goal. We'll get on to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was on the 91st minute then. Like it was like deja vu this time. Whenever the ball was lost in midfield, again another problem. It seems to be something that has to be worked on. And then a pass splits our 2 centre backs, Nemeth and Medic. And once that ball goes through, there's only one winner in that foot race. So Lord Conte just poured on through and dispatched it past Marsh. What did you think of Marsh's goalkeeping? Not just on those 1v1s, but in general.
He was a lot more accomplished, I thought. So there's specifically where he had those string of saves in a row, and normally those had gone through him. He wasn't the strongest with the first goal either. It went through him a bit too easy, I think. But he took control of most situations. I wouldn't say that the new goalkeeper would be like licking his lips and going, "Oh, this is me. I'm going to get my chance now." Based on that performance, I think Smash is still the number one until your man gets back. I forgot his name. I think he's still
Fürth, yeah.
FORZA.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
I don't think FORZA. I don't know.
Should learn to say the name.
We are going to get absolutely slaughtered for not knowing how to pronounce the name of our first choice goalkeeper. For the love of God, I wouldn't consider any of those goals directly to be Smarsh's fault. I think that would be a bit harsh, but I would file them under could do better. You know, I think
it's like when you get your school report card. Room for improvement.
There is definitely room for improvement there, because you mentioned that like a triple save, which fair enough, he kept it out, but he wouldn't have had to do that if he just caught that initial shot, which was catchable.
Yeah.
There's just a bit too much show diving going on there for me.
That went through a crowd of players, let's be fair, for the first save, because that was a heavily congested penalty area. And yeah, he flap at it, but he definitely parried it down to a danger area. Then there were 2 or 3 other shots that came, and then he caught it with the final cross. But yeah, I mean, not just on that instance either, but I don't know. I mean, there's nothing there that's too cringeworthy or made me on the edge of my seat like, oh shit, Smash is like against Hansa Rostock, there was a few incidents in the previous games that were more incidents. He seems to be growing into it game after game. So
yeah, true.
I don't know when Vasil is back. but the new goalkeeper obviously isn't knocking on the
Haven't
door
got a
either.
look in.
So I think he's just brought in his backup, which doesn't make sense. Or maybe just to light a fire upon the Smarish's ass. I'm not sure. It's certainly done that. But yeah, it's a bit strange.
Even with the 1v1s that he faced, his starting position seemed a bit strange. You know, like whenever you're a kid, they'd always say, make yourself big, so to get low. He'd stand up really tall, and then the last minute try and make his move to get down. And then, because for one of them, as you said, it sort of just slipped underneath him, where you thought maybe if you were lower, you could have got them on it, or if you had went with your legs instead of your hands.
Well, even the Conte, the second goal seemed to go through him, not like it wasn't too far away. But what do I know? I'm an awful goalkeeper. And I just checked. So Sir Lord Conte. So I just looked on the Bundesliga, Zweites Bundesliga official website, statistics galore on his profile. His top speed is 36.58 kilometers per hour. Is that faster or slower than Alphonso Davies?
I think it would have to be slower, right? Not by much, but
it's faster than Alphonso Davies by half a kilometer an hour. Jesus. Right. So that's how fast
he was on our books as well.
Oh, was he?
How do you let someone like that go?
Man, he's rampant. It's crazy fast.
I know. And could you like the sight of him coming on if you're Medic and Nemeth, like him with a fresh pair of legs coming on, they must have been breaking it. Maybe that's why there was a bit of miscommunication, and you know they both went up for the same header.
How do you deal with that kind of? That's his top speed, of course, but. How do you deal with that? Especially, as you say, when did he come on? It wasn't early on in the game anyway, so the legs would have already been tired. And then these fresh, lightning fast legs come on. It's like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Especially Medic, he's not the quickest out there, is he?
Yeah, but I mean, he's bigger. He's a bigger frame and stronger and clever.
That's why I thought that someone was just going to fucking drag him down by the neck for that second goal, because they were sort of close enough to him, but just clothesline the cunt as he's going past.
Exactly.
But
take one for the team, as you call it, right?
Yeah, I think it would have had to have been Medic, because Nemeth was booked at that stage. Okay. But I think Jackson's had to do it a couple of times this season already, where someone's on the break and you just got to take one and wipe them out. Fucking Lampard used to make a career out of that. Yep. Every other match he'd get booked for just wiping someone out in midfield.
Dashner did it a few weeks ago. Yeah, it's part and parcel. Midfield usually, but if not, then hopefully the defender that's not been booked so far, that guy, that's the one you want. But anyway, I mean, what kind of takeaways from this match then? So we went into it with. It's almost like mixed emotions, like expectations, but I think we both predicted a draw for starters, right? So, and that's with our optimistic hats on. So to come away with a draw, it's like, oh, great, that's a good result, to be fair.
It draws me all the sweeter when it's scored in the last minute, especially whenever the goal that they thought was the winner came 2 minutes before that. And their coach comes running onto the pitch, joining in the celebrations, you know, thinking that they've snatched 3 points away at St. Pauli, giving it the big ones. It made me so fucking happy to see his mug on the screen after Nemeth headed that one in. Yeah. Oh my god! Have we talked about the Nemeth goal yet?
No, we haven't. No, we didn't. We skipped that one. But do you know what you just described? The Germans have a very good word for that, Schadenfreude. So take enjoying other people's misery.
Yeah, that was a perfect example of it as well. I think he said after the match as well, he was like, "Oh, maybe that was a bad idea. Maybe it egged him on a bit too much. Too fucking right, it was a bad idea." Hold that run the next time you score in the last minute, because you just never know.
You just needed Nemeth to seal off by doing remember when Suarez celebrated by diving in front of the opposition manager when they called him a diver. You just need Nemeth to slide in front and just celebrate in front of the manager, like, wait. That would have kept it off.
Oh, I would have had that up.
Like total shithousery. That's what you want.
Yeah, so I'm sure everyone who's listening has seen it, but the equaliser came in the 93rd minute, pretty much immediately after after Paderborn made it 2-1. The ball went up the other end. Pretty needlessly went out for a corner. Those are always the ones that come back to haunt you, isn't that right?
Battle, nice cross.
And then Nemeth rose to meet it.
There were three boys there that could have gotten into that one. It's a well-worked corner, to be fair. Whether Paderborn had switched off, I don't know. But there were three St. Pauli players ready to send that one home.
And it's not the first time we scored late on this season. We rescued a point in Hanover from Jackson Irvine header as well. And that's a fantastic trait to have for a group of players, like to never give up, always feel like you got a chance. Klopp calls it mentality monsters, doesn't he?
Yeah, right. Sure.
So that's something you've got to give credit to Timo Schultz and the players to always think that they can get something out of a match.
Yeah, it definitely shows character within the team, which is very important, especially if you're playing so many games so thick and fast and spending so much time together. It's good to have that, hey, like, these guys are going to be fighting to the end as well. The last thing you want to do is turn to your left and turn to your right and see, oh, these guys don't give a shit. They've switched off, already thinking about their next Instagram post or something.
Yeah,
Modern
exactly.
football, right? See how I made that relevant?
Yeah, so do you have any takeaways from the game? Anything you're concerned about or you're happy about? Anything?
So my takeaway, you mentioned it before about the number of shots that we had on goal. Yes, there's only a 25% success rate with being on target, but compared to previous games where we just weren't taking shots and definitely not having any on target, except for the one in the 93rd minute, I think it was against Hansa Rostock. So it's good that, I guess, that the message for the Paderborn game was, if you see sight on goal, challenge the goalkeeper, then Eggestein or Otto can close in and try and get the rebound in or something. Don't be afraid to shoot, which is important. Like, you don't want to be an Arsenal and just trying to walk the ball in all the bloody time. It doesn't work. So that was reassuring.
But I thought that the front three were largely ineffectual. So the Dashner, Eggestein, Otto, they didn't do a whole lot. I mean, other than, sorry, I shouldn't say that, because they ran their horses off. Yeah. They pressed their back line into oblivion. That's pretty much how we managed to control the game, was because of their good work up there.
It's just their defensive work that was good, but just the...
Yeah, there's sort of like a lack of sharpness or cohesion up there where they struggle to create any real good chances. I have a feeling that they're just all a bit too similar. I think we could do with sort of like a different profile of player up front. Funnily enough, someone along the same lines of Matanovic. Clearly, he himself isn't working out right now. Yeah. But someone like that, someone who can hold up the ball, bit of a target man, they can offer something different. Players can make runs off of him. I just feel like our front three are a little bit too samey.
Yeah.
And they sort of struggle to get into it a wee bit. And speaking of massive target mans, we have been linked with a player. So the transfer window closes at 6 o'clock on Thursday. And there's reports that we're looking at a striker from Dijon, second division in France. His name is Aurélien Schiedler, something like that anyway.
Scheidler.
He's
it sounds
24.
German, but it seems he's French, but his surname is Scheidler.
He scored 14 goals last season, which is a decent return. Could be he's 6'4" or something. He's a bit of a unit, so that's why they seem to agree with the idea that we need something a little bit different, because I guess they were banking on that player being Matanovic.
Of course. I mean, we've talked about
it's not working
potential, right? We've talked about potential of Matanovic, and he was bought by Eintracht Frankfurt. They've loaned him back to us for, I think, 2 seasons to help him develop, etc. But he started the season and he's been a bit flaccid, shall we say. He's not really contributed much or anything. But maybe he just needs a bit of time. Maybe he needs that competition. Maybe he can learn from the Scheidler guy, or I don't know. Something needs to happen to kickstart it for him. I mean, we'd all love it to happen, right? We don't want to replace him. We want this to be the season that he becomes a 20-goal man. That'd be awesome for everybody. But
I just can't see what's going to change for that to come about.
I can see. I mean, the potential is there. You can see, like, especially last season, not this season. Last season, when he's coming on and he's just had this spark about him. He can control the ball. He's big frames, really strong. He can hold the ball up well. He's got such a good touch on him as well. Like, he can control the ball very nicely, but takes too many touches for starters, and always maybe he aims too much for perfection. Like, he wants that showpiece goal. He's not willing to just scuff it into the corner, you know.
I think he would take anything at this stage.
Now he would, but I think
he just needs one to go in off his arse or something, just to get him up and running.
Yeah, maybe. Well,
I think he'd take that. But to be fair, he did look better last year than he does this year.
Yep.
And our attack in general looked better last year than it did this year. So maybe that's it. There's no Daniel Kofi Kire behind him, you know, creating absolute magic out of thin air. I think that's affecting the whole team.
Yeah, but there's glimpses of Chire in Dashner, though. He's just playing like he does seem to have a spark in him, which is nice.
I did like Dashner's start to the season. It was very encouraging. Last two matches sort of seemed to have gone off the boil, but yeah. I mean, he's new to the club. You can't be too harsh on the boy, but there is something missing up front. We've been saying it since day one, really. Yeah. The only time it's really clicked has been whenever Eggestein scored his two.
Well, we've got plenty of strikers on the books, so we just need to find that right combination. So I think that's the takeaway as well is, yes, we started shooting more, but now we need to find the right combination. So Eggestein, Otto, Bukalfa, Amenido, Matanovic, is that everybody? I can't remember. I still feel like there's strikers available to us. Metcalf, of course. So there's strikers galore. It's just what's the right combo, and is there also players in the market that we can go and pick up?
Yeah, that French dude might be an option, but it's going to mean even more limited game time for some of the other players, namely Matanovic, since they're the same profile. They're big lads, and especially if he's going back from his loan, then is there any point in developing him if he's not doing the business on the pitch? There's no point in giving him game time. Like, we can't give him 3 matches in the row of per performances in the hope that he turns a corner. At some point, you got to make a decision. I'd be happy enough with a new striker coming in, to be honest.
Would you look for improvements anywhere else, or just a striker?
Striker and centre back would be my main two problem areas.
Like a backup centre back. So Faslihi isn't solid enough for you, I guess.
Yeah, he's not a true centre back either, is he really?
No, I don't think so.
And Christoph Avior, he'll be coming back by the looks of things. But him and Medic, I wouldn't be so sure about as a centre back pairing.
No, I think that's fair.
Because I mean, if one of Medic or Nemeth gets injured,
or both,
we
had that last season, right? Medic and Zirais were out for 3 or 4 weeks or something, I think, and we struggled like crazy. And then James Lawrence was out as well, so all 3 of our first choice centre backs were out, and it's brutal.
And SpVgg is already injured this year.
Yes. Yeah.
Which isn't great. So in terms of the transfer window, then, as we said, it closes on Thursday. How would you rate the business that has been done? Would you consider it a good transfer window?
Saliakas, yes. The jury's still out on the rest, though, I think. Saliakas is the only one that's like nailed on. Okay, he's improved on the team from last year. So when you compare like for like, so Chire, Burgstaller, right, the guys that left versus the guys that come in, is is Nemeth better than Sirais at the moment? I'd say no, but he could be, but I don't think he is right now. And Saliakas definitely at right back. He's, as we said, it's good for the competition for Zander, but it's not. He's added more to his game. Like, he's a bit more attacking as well. So I think Saliakas is the only positive addition. The rest are just trying to plug the hole of those that were sold or left.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we've lost more quality than we've brought in.
Yeah.
But the ones who have been brought in have sort of been looking more to the future. They're all very young.
All very young,
except for
exactly.
except for the goalkeeper.
It's just a rebuilding process. Some teams go through those phases, and there's no harm in that. I mean, it could be a case that we're looking for a strong second half of the season while these players gel and stuff. Obviously, you hope that they gel quicker, but it might be a slightly longer term plan. Just keep within touching distance, not too much pressure. Try things, test things, which is good to do, at least early doors. That's why we might see a few changes with the attacking combinations. But then, as soon as Schultz and the coaching staff are happy with what the right recipe would be, then we'll start to see a bit more of a regular front three, front two lineup. But I mean, we've seen it in midfield, we see it in defence. It's pretty much nailed on now, right? There's not too much variance being applied there. If those four or those three are fit, talk about defensive midfield, then they'll start. So
yeah, I think the good news is that it's a transitional year, a lot of outgoings and incomings, and it's still been a decent start to the season.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get better. Not only because players have to adapt, as you said, but because they're young. So I think there's potential there. And hopefully it can only get better. And if it can only get better after this start of the season, then I think we'll be in for a decent season.
I mean, we're still only 5 points behind first, so we're not a million miles away. So I mean, we're 6 games in. I only really look at the league table. I think I said last time after 10 games or so. So in 4 more games, that'd be okay. This is it starts to get a bit more serious. So we've played 6, drawn 2, lost 2, won 2. So with a 11-10 goal difference. So it's very, very even Stevens right now.
Yeah.
But that doesn't get you promoted.
Yeah, it doesn't. But I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of fans are already writing off promotion. Yeah. I'm not so pessimistic. I still think it can be done, especially if a few players, reach even close to their full potential. We might be able to make a late push. I mean, this league is fucking crazy.
Yes.
I know people like to say that about every league. Oh, anything can happen. Anyone can beat anyone, but it's actually true in this case.
Yeah, it's a bit mad, but that's the frustrating / love part of it. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, exactly. Next up for the boys in brown is away to Sandhausen. Tell me a bit about what we can expect from them.
Sandhausen? Are you skipping games?
Am I skipping games?
I think so.
No, I'm not. Am I?
It's Greuther Fürth.
Oh, it's Greuther Fürth. Oh, next home game is Sandhausen. I'm sorry.
I was like, I've prepared tons of stuff for Greuther Fürth, and you talk about Sandhausen. Shit.
You must have been kicking them there. You would have had to improvise for 5 minutes on Sandhausen.
Sandhausen, yeah, good team. Like built on a beach. I don't know.
The House of Sand. Sandhausen.
Don't build houses on sand. Look, Greuther Fürth.
Right, tell me about Fürth.
Well, they are not having a very good start to the season. So if we're depressed, these guys are next level, borderline depression. So obviously they dropped down for the Bundesliga. They weren't there for long. They were only there for 1 season. So we do have a lot of history with them. And like I said, having a horrible start. So not won a game. They've got a total of how many points they got? I think it's peanuts, right? So the second bottom only to Braunschweig with 3 points. So 3 draws. And we're playing them at Greuther Fürth at the stadium. And they've drawn 2 and lost 1. So they're going into it on a very low ebb. So we hope to capitalize on that for sure. And yeah, they're suffering from a lot of injuries though. So there's some familiar faces and some big name players in the team, but just suffering from a lot of injuries right now. So hopefully they don't return for this game, because that's not what we want at all. But they do have depth and quality within their squad. So I'm specifically speaking about like a Jethro Willems, if you remember him, played for Eintracht Frankfurt, played at Newcastle, and he's an absolute dynamite. They tried to sign him permanently. He plays for them, for these guys. And
Jeez, how the mighty have fallen.
I know, right? It's crazy. And then Julian Green used to play for HSV, and Ducek used to play for HSV. So they've got some good players in there. But they're just, I don't know, whether they're not clicking or whether they're just not adjusting to life in the Zweites Bundesliga after the highs of the Bundesliga last year. But like I said, they're no strangers to the Zweites Bundesliga. So it's just a case of we're hoping they don't click for the next game, but they're struggling, which is good.
That's what always worries me. I think it's like the better fallacy, you know, where the longer their run of no wins goes on, the more you think, oh, it's going to come the next time, and just have a horrible feeling that it might come against us.
Well, in the last 10, we've played them. So we've won 4, they've won 5, and there's just been the one draw. So it most likely go one way or the other. But their last win at home came in February. In fact, their last win ever,
God help those fans,
was in February. It was against Hertha Berlin. So they're definitely not having a good run of form. So yeah, long may it continue, I say, at least until this weekend. But yeah, so it's a bit brutal for them. So like I said, they've played 3 home games so far this season. They've drawn 2, lost 1. So I mean, we've had a win or 2 on the road. So hopefully we can put that to good use. And they've just we just signed Buchert from us. So maybe he's given us some tips, the goalkeeper. Maybe he's saying, hey, this is giving some inside information. I'm sure that Schultz and co would have been analysing and looking at what they've got going on. But like I said, it could be a case of the injuries that they've incurred. If they're coming back, are they going to slide straight in? Or is it going to be a bit of play it safe with them? They might need some
time, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so.
Yeah. So what do you think in terms of score prediction, since you were spot on last week and expecting big things?
I think it's going to be
Mystic Trev.
It's going to be 3-0 to St. Pauli this time.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I was going to go 3-1.
What are you?
I
was thinking 3-1.
Not confident in clean sheets.
No, I think it's going to be 3-0. I just don't see them scoring. I think looking at the start of the season and how many goals they've scored so far, so they've scored 7 in 6 games. So I don't think they're going to score, especially that upward trend that Smash, Medic, and Nemeth are having. And if we fix that thing, like they don't seem to have any fast players going in behind, from what I've seen. So hopefully we can nail that one. But maybe it's more of a physical battle, because they do have a good striker on their books. Like, let's not kid ourselves. They have Branimir Hrgota, who scored 2 and assisted 2 so far this season. He's the captain. He's playing with him in the Bundesliga last season. He's played for Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's played for Frankfurt, and he scored goals in the Bundesliga last season. So we can't score. So it's going to be a different challenge, I think. I don't think he's a dynamic, fast-paced, over-the-top kind of guy.
What I do for a clean sheet, man. I hope you're right. I really do. We've shifted 10 goals just in the league, and then a further 3 in that one cup match at Stalin. So I'd take a clean sheet all day long.
I'm feeling optimistic about that. Like I said, Smash is growing into it. Medic, Nemeth. Are we going to score more goals from defence? That's the question. Are the strikers going to step up, or the attacking players going to step up and score those 3 goals, or is it going to be 1 or 2 from defence? I mean, it's good to distribute the goals amongst the team, of course, and not be a Burgstaller situation like last year, where Burgstaller, I think he got injured or he just went on a goal drought. I can't quite remember. And then our goals completely dried up. Nobody was scoring because Chile was at the Africa Cup of Nations, etc. So it's good that they're distributed, but heavily in the favour of defence right now between Medic and Nemeth. Right, so
exactly.
We could do with a few more goals from the strike force. But will Matanovic play, do you think?
Fuck no, I hope not. Anyway, this is harsh. Like he's only 19. This is really harsh on the poor lad. But no, I would not play him. I'd give Amaniero a go. He's the only one out of them who hasn't started a match.
Oh really? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, he was coming back from injury again.
He was injured. Yeah. So. And he scored, so his confidence, I'm sure, will be high.
Yep.
I would start him alongside Eggestein.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, they're two different players as well, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Because Amanido is very direct, very fast, very skillful. Eggestein is a workaholic and works the channels, so that could be a good combo.
Yeah.
And are we having another penalty taker? Do you think Pacarad is going to step up if we win another one?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
He'll step up again, and I'm confident that he'll spot it away. Like he's a confident player. You can just tell he's a bit full of himself. So which is good. What do you want? You want a confident player.
I saw something on a Transfermarkt the other day. They did a Twitter infographic with the number of penalties missed or something since the year 2000, and Messi has missed 33 penalties or something. So if he misses a penalty, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
If he does it, it's all good. Everyone can miss them.
We'll let that go.
So that's.
So we'll be back to see if we're right in our predictions and to analyse the match against Fürth, and then look ahead to the aforementioned Sandhausen game.
Yeah, which we jumped ahead of schedule there, but yeah.
Yeah. You'll have to come back next week if you want to hear about that.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, absolute pleasure as always, Luke. Good insights into St. Pauli. Thanks for watching the game and leading us along.
No worries.
Are you? I know it's an away game, so I don't think you're at that game now, Greuther.
No, it's fucking ages away as well, man. It's so far. It's all the way south in Bavaria or some shit. So I'll be back for Sandhausen at home though.
Nice, sweet, cool. In that case, then, absolute pleasure. Take care. See you next week, and have a good one.
Cheerio.
Ciao.
Bye.